After 2 decades in the NASCAR Cup Series, Kevin Harvick could be hanging up his racing boots. But instead, he's committed to Stewart-Haas Racing to the end of 2023.
I like my team. If Rodney was done with it, I'd probably be done with it. And I think, for me, I like where I race. I like Stewart-Haas Racing. I like the group of guys that I started here with. That's why they all came here. And I would feel like I was abandoning them if I just didn't go a couple more years.
Through my whole career, the longest I've ever worked with anybody was 3 years. So to be with somebody for going on 9 is crazy. It's kind of been easy from the beginning. We've been super competitive every single season, and I think we both have the same goals and the same mindset. And to have a championship driver that can go out there and win races and do the things that he does is just, nobody on this team ever wants to work with anybody else anymore because it's been so good.
Harvick, crew chief Rodney Childers and the number 4 car team have won a championship and 35 races in their first 8 years together. Their experience is such that even when they're not winning, they're still scoring.
Well, there's just different ways to race, right? And sometimes it's, today we're going to run 4th, and being able to accept that if we have a 4th place car, we need to finish 4th. On the days when stuff is chaotic and there's cars torn up everywhere and you finish 9th with a 20th place car, those are really big wins. So you just have to figure out how to manage that and also manage it when you have fast cars, slow cars, intermediate cars. Know what you have that day and get the most out of that day.
Last season, Harvick guided a struggling SHR car into the playoffs despite not getting to victory lane. But there was some friction with the young 2020 champion Chase Elliott that ended with aggression from both sides.
You're always going to have some sort of controversy when you're competitive, right? It's a very different system than what you had before, so you have to be more aggressive all the time because of the stages and the importance of restarts. That has definitely changed the way that you race. It's very cutthroat. You don't really worry about anybody else. They have been taught from the time that they race to be full tilt. It's a different mentality than it used to be, and I think part of the success that we had in just being where we wound up at the end of last year is because they also don't know how to manage their car. And they wind up in more wrecks, they wind up with more torn up fenders, they wind up with more mistakes, and it allowed us to go from winning 9 races 2 years ago and last year winning no races to finishing the same spot in the points. We knew how to race a different way, and in the end you got the same result.
The next-gen car also changes things for Harvick. A lot more centralised parts from NASCAR make it harder for teams to find a performance advantage through experienced engineering and team communication.
For a team that we're on the forefront of developing things, it's a little bit of a culture shock that will take a long time for me to get used to because I've been a part of that innovation and the evolution of cars for my whole career. That was just part of what you do.
I've been surprised about how into it he's been. Somebody that's done as much as he has with the old school cars. You wondered at times whether he would just walk away and not want to do anything with this new car, and he's been super involved. And the good thing about him is just how fast he learns. I think he learns faster than anybody in the field, and he figures out how to drive something, and he's really good at using his feet and doing things that other people can't do.
Part of the reason that we've been somewhat successful is just that I know what I want in the car. We've just been able to figure out the communication with what you're feeling in the car and how we fix it, what fixes it, what pushes the hot buttons. They believe in the direction that I tell them to go, and they're good at finding things that help solve that problem.
At 46, Harvick may be the oldest driver in the Cup Series field, but he has the experience and the team to add to his 58 Cup wins before he hangs up those racing boots.
A lot of professional sports depend on your body and speed and agility and all those things. Our sport has a huge value in experience. Those street smarts that come along with just making decisions on the fly and being able to survive, and how you handle all those things is probably a lot better than it used to be, instead of just banging your fist on the table and saying we need to do this and cause a bunch of commotion and walk out. So so it's just 25 to 46, that's a long time, and you learn a lot in between.